Hello, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Claire. I am doing a bit of a kitchen restock today, so I'm going to go through things like making some homemade kombucha. I'm going to do some muesli for my breakfast. I'm going to make some cat food, that'll be interesting. Play-Doh, all the things that I try and make homemade as much as possible. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I feed my children chicken nuggets and that is life. But if you want to just hang out with me in the kitchen today and get some stuff made, then welcome, come along. And if you enjoy making things from scratch or just watching someone else struggle to, then you should like and subscribe. I do this a lot. Now, the reason I'm going to attempt making some cat food is because of this chap here. Hello, handsome boy. Hi. Yes, this is Idris. Idris is a ragdoll cat. He's got beautiful blue eyes. And he's getting up in there. He's 11 now. And unfortunately, we're having trouble with him vomiting every single time he eats wet food. And it doesn't matter what wet food we give him. So my hope is that by giving him something very, very simple and very, very plain, we might be able to get on top of his tummy. Oh, I can't stop tickling you. I have stuff to do, my dude. I can't be playing here all day. But look at that handsome face. Oh, look at, how could you resist? Oh, look. Oh, yes. Look at those big, beautiful blue eyes. Now, I will preface this by saying I am not a vet. I am not a dietitian of any kind. I've done a lot of research. This is supplemental to their complete dry food, but they do like to have a bit of wet food, especially now that my cats are older and they benefit from having something that's a bit easier on their teeth. So I'm keeping things very, very simple. I do not recommend this is a recipe. This is my first time doing it, and I always recommend you should speak to your vet and do your own research, etc. Disclaimers, blah, blah, blah. This is a whole chicken. I roasted it this morning. There is no seasoning, there is nothing, no onions, no nothing that cats can't have. It is just purely a chicken. This is a jar of carrots, which I canned last year. We don't like canned carrots, I have discovered. I just realised I've forgotten to put my wedding rings back on. I will go and do that in a moment. Now, there's nothing in here except carrots and water, so there's no salt, no nothing. And this is rather concerningly named Barf Complete. It is a complete cat nutrient supplement. It's got brewer's yeast, barley, grass, rose hips, blah, 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 blah. And it says feeding recommendation, cats per 3 grams. My cats are about 5.5 kilos, 5.5 kilos each. 1 measuring spoon daily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this chicken and I'm going to empty this all into my trusty KitchenAid blender, blitz it all up together, and then right back to the days of making my own baby food. I have lots of these silicone trays and I will just, oh, you need a wash, sir. Oh, gross. I will wash them and then freeze it all in ice cubes and pop it in the freezer to use as and when. We'll see if he likes it and if it helps settle his stomach. And if not, I mean, the chicken was £3 something. It was yellow sticker, obviously, because of who I am as a person. And I get the carcass for stock. So it's an experiment. We'll see. Let's have a go. I couldn't get the lid off that other jar, so we're going with this jar. Still just plain carrots. Slightly overloaded blender. It'll be fine. There's that, and then I'm going to put, how much am I going to put in? This wasn't particularly cheap, but I still want to make sure we get the full benefit from it. Given that this is supplemental, as I say, this is not their entire diet, I'm going to put 2 big teaspoons in. Oh, yum. May need to add some more of the chicken juice to get this all to blend down, but we'll see how we go. Right. Right, so I do have it all blended up. I'm not going to show it to you because I like you and this doesn't look great and you don't need to see that. But I will say it's come together. It looks as one would expect cat food to look. Yeah, so now for the test. Hello, Morpheus. What do we think? Gonna give it a go? No, it's not your normal dinner time, and it's not your normal dinner. Might mix in some of the old food and see if that gets your yes, thank you. I know you're very keen on showing me your bum. Oh, it's a purr. It's a strong start. Oh, look. He's eating it. Is that tasty? What do we think? Yeah, that'll do. Right, for my next trick, I actually made this the other day, but I thought I'd add it in here. I am out of hot chocolate powder, so here is some powdered milk. I always like to have it in stock. It's not great to use as just milk, but it's a useful ingredient to have, and you can use it in baking. So basically, I need 2 full cups of the powdered milk. I just pop it straight in the jar. I'm going to store it in and shake it up to mix it. And then I want some cocoa powder, 1 cup of cocoa powder, I think it is. Oh, maybe, yes. Good shout, Claire. Get the funnel out. That's a good plan. So 2 cups of milk, 1 cup of cocoa powder, and then I need some powdered sugar. This isn't a healthy thing. This is a hot chocolate recipe. Have a fight with a box and basically 2 cups, or is it 1.5 cups? No, it's 2 cups of, I'm just going to check my recipe here, of powdered sugar. And all I do is pop the lid on, give it a shake. Once I've given it all a good shake, it's ready to be used. I use about 3 teaspoons of the mixture, add some hot water. You don't need to add any more milk because there's milk powder in it, obviously. And, oh, that's a bit of turmeric extract that I made just to mix it up a bit. Mix everything up, and then, of course, mini marshmallows are entirely mandatory, in my view anyway, so just grab them from the baking section at Aldi. Yum. Right, I'm going to talk about kombucha. Now, there are a million videos on YouTube that tell you all about how to make kombucha in great detail. This is just mine. I am no expert. I've been doing it for years now, actually. This is my kombucha. It's in a big kiln jar thing. It has got a spigot, but the spigot never works because it's always blocked with yeast. Basically, it's a live fermented beverage. It's fermented sweet tea. It's very good, allegedly, for your gut, for your sort of microbiome. It's in the same way that live yogurt is and other fermented foods. It's supposed to be very good for you, but I enjoy it. It basically makes a fizzy carbonated beverage that is, this is very heavy, that you can customize, do whatever you like with. So what I'm going to be doing today is making elderberry syrup kombucha. So we've had the primary fermentation. This is all fermented. It smells slightly vinegary, slightly tart. And this thing, I've got very, very clean hands. I'm going to take this hair tie off my hand though and probably wash my hands again. I'll be right back. Very, very clean hands. We don't want to introduce any nasties to this. We only want the good cultures, the good bacteria. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my SCOBY, which is very large and very heavy at this point. And I'm going to put it in a glass container. Why glass? Because it's acidic. If you put it in a metal container, it will react. Not in a very dramatic way, you just want to avoid it. Right, here we go. Here's my very appealing SCOBY. Now, I don't need all of this SCOBY, right? This is slightly excessive in the world of SCOBYs. So what I am going to do is just peel off the top layer, which is the youngest and the freshest layer, and we're going to keep that. And the older layer, this is not the most pleasant thing to touch, to be perfectly honest, I'm going to put in my compost. This is basically cellulose. Cellulose and happy yeasties. So you can go to my compost heap. What you also want to do is keep some of your original starter tea, because really that's where most of the good yeast is. So we want to make sure that we keep a good amount of that in. Now, so this vessel is what the primary fermentation happens in. And what I mean by that is the fermentation where the yeasties take all of the sugar that's in your sweet tea and ferment it and create kombucha. This is now finished kombucha. But as much as I like plain kombucha, I do like plain kombucha, I do like to mix it up with different flavours. And you can flavour it with literally anything you want. But if you want fizzy kombucha, you have to add more sugar. And that can be as simple as adding a couple of teaspoons of sugar to your bottles. Or in my case, I made this elderberry syrup when we were all sick with a cold. and I love it. I love the taste of it. It tastes great. And I thought that could make really amazing kombucha. So I've got clean bottles here, washed very thoroughly. I'm just going to add, I'm going to split this jar between the 4 bottles. And you allow it to secondary ferment at room temperature for a couple of days. You do want to be careful with this. These are obviously unpredictable reactions when you're literally dealing with living organisms. But I'm hoping that the fact, so I'm going to ferment it at room temperature, keeping an eye on these bottles to make sure they don't get too overpressurized. You can sort of burp them. I tend not to do that, just because I don't ever tend to add too much sugar. What am I doing with that? And after about 48 hours, I will put them in the fridge, and then I will have a lovely fermented fizzy kombucha, just like you can buy in the supermarkets or health food store, whatever you're up to. So I'll get these filled. Right, I have all my bottles filled. Everything a good wipe as we go. Because the elderberry syrup obviously has a lot of sugar in it, so it will be sticky. Okay, now I use a method called continuous brew kombucha. So there is still kombucha left in here, and there's kombucha in this bowl as well. But I want to essentially feed it, kind of like you do a sourdough, and keep it going. So this is the fresh sweet tea that I brewed this morning that's now cooled down to room temperature. And into the pot it goes. About every 6 months I will empty it completely, give it a good clean out, and not start again, because obviously I put some starter tea and a SCOBY in there. But I do, give everything a bit of a refresh. So here's my lovely SCOBY, very nice, healthy. There's no mold on it, there's no nothing. It's just nice and healthy. And I pour the tea back in. And what we will see over the next few days is right at the top layer, it does tend to float. Sometimes SCOBYs don't float, but normally they do. You will see a layer of fresh SCOBY start to grow at the top. And sometimes you even grow a little SCOBY in your bottles as they're sat doing the secondary fermentation. And that is not a problem at all. It's nothing to worry about. It's just a bit of a pain to clean the bottle out. Right, so what do I need now? Now, to keep any fruit flies or whatever out, because this is obviously a kind of vinegary, fruity smelling mixture, this is a clean muslin. It's actually one of my children's old ones that we no longer need for those purposes. And I just switch them out every week or so and pop them in the wash, and sit this metal lid on top just to keep everything there, and it keeps everything nice and fresh. And that is it. That is how I make my kombucha. Right, next up, we were out of Play-Doh. We can't be having that, can we? It's my mum's recipe for Play-Doh. It works perfectly every time. I will write it down in the description because I can't remember the exact measurements. But basically you start with some salt, some cream of tartar, some water, plain flour and some oil, and that's it. If you have small children helping you, you will inevitably have to clean up something, and that's okay. That's all part of the fun. I don't mind them getting involved in this part. But even though it's messy, it's all part of the fun, isn't it? As you will see me add a little bit more oil there because obviously half of it ended up on my hob. But when you're actually cooking it, don't let kids anywhere near it. It is molten hot, so it can be very, very dangerous, as with all hot things on the hob. So there we go. And there's plain flour. Do not use gluten-free flour. It will not work. It has to be normal plain wheat flour for this. So if you are very, very sensitive, don't do that. Get your bougie whisk out. Thank you very much, Aunt Kathleen, for the bougie whisk. She didn't like it. We love it. Give it a bit of a stir, and then all we do is cook it on the hob until it comes to. And you will see what I mean by come together. It will go from a slimy, floury, horrible paste to all of a sudden magic will happen and there will be Play-Doh. I don't know how it works. I think it's something to do with the cream of tartar. So all you do is pop it on the hob, keep stirring it, get the lumps out as best you can, and just keep going and going and going and going until you have Play-Doh. This will last for about 2 months in the fridge if you keep it airtight. So all I do is after the kids are done playing with it, I just pop it in a Ziploc bag and stick it in the fridge. You can see here, this is the point of magic, where all of a sudden it starts coming away together and sticking together in a lovely, nice, doughy ball. You do have to keep moving it around to make sure it gets sort of cooked all the way through, but it happens very, very quickly. So don't take your eyes off it and walk away. Just keep going with your wooden spoon until it's done. And once it's hit that magic point, I'm just going to pop it out onto my hob to cool down. It's molten hot. Please don't let small people poke it. I have asbestos hands because I have served my time working in a restaurant kitchen. So, you know, it's like a magic mum superpower, isn't it? Magic asbestos hands. You can't feel the heat. I'm cutting it into 3 because we are going to be colouring this with some food dye, and there is a trick to making sure it doesn't get everywhere. Now, food dye obviously can stain your hands, but you can minimise it by being a bit crafty about how you add the food dye. What I do is I pop it straight in the middle of my ball of Play-Doh, and then I start kneading it in, avoiding touching it as much as possible until it is properly mixed in. So here we've got some green, that's some blue going on there, Smurf hands ahoy, and then I think I've got some pink as well. And you just basically use the ball to stop the dye from going everywhere. I get it started for the kids and then they join me in helping out. And it's just a nice, fun thing for them to do. It's fun for them to make, it's fun for them to play with. It's cheap because it's basically the cost of some flour and cream of tartar and oil and salt, I suppose, as well. And personally, for me, I hate the smell of shop-bought Play-Doh. I really do. Oh, look, I've got a little assistant helping me with the camera there. Thanks very much. And you just keep kneading until it's all the way through. And voila, there you go. Homemade Play-Doh. Fun is now stocked and ready to go. There's another child there. Oh my days, I'm just collecting them at this point. Right, the final thing I have to do today is make some muesli. I like to have yogurt and muesli. I don't always bother with this step, but I think I will today. I'm feeling fancy. I'm going to get some oats. These are gluten-free porridge oats. Spread them out a bit in this dish, and I'm just going to toast them in the oven for a few minutes. And whilst I'm doing that, why don't we toast these as well? These are some blanched almonds. Being blanched, they are a bit pally-wally and anemic, so I'm going to give them a rough chop, bob them in that dish. I could probably have done with a larger baking tray, but oh well, that's what I've got out now. Shove these in and just get them a little bit toasty and fragrant before we mix everything up together. Right, brief interlude whilst these cooled and I went and cleaned out the chickens, and all I will say to that is, holy moly, the girls produce a lot of compost. Right, this is the jar I'm going to use. No, I haven't washed it out. I only filled it last week. I'm going to wash it next time. I know, I'm a clatty Mary, but I'm on a deadline. So this is all cooled down now. Let me get a funnel. Right, into the jar we go. You can tell I'm getting tired because I'm just cutting corners now. Right, to this, I'm going to add, what am I going to add? I am a giant child and fancy some chocolate orange flavoured muesli. This is orange powder that I made. Basically, my kids eat a lot of oranges. I cut the pith off the orange zest, and then I dehydrated it, popped it in a blender, and now I have orange powder that I can add to whatever I want. I'm going to add some raisins as well. A little bit of powdered sugar, icing sugar. Not too much, I'm an adult after all, allegedly. Maybe a tablespoon or so, or 2. And half a tablespoon of cocoa powder. Maybe more than half a tablespoon. Because why should my kids be the only ones that get to enjoy chocolatey cereal in the morning? You all right there, Morpheus? But muesli looks just like Alpen in my mind. Stay on there, please, and thank you, sir. As you can probably tell, I'm done for the day, so I feel like my kitchen is restocked. Everything is at peace. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.